Okay, I'm gonna do we have any comments about how I was starting things, by the way, or is the sort of shitty intro super good?
Well, I think we need to, like, before we get into this one, I think we need to do a little bit of, like, housekeeping stuff.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's keep the house.
Yeah, because, well, we recorded the last two before we had released them, so we
It's a
weren't
little
ready.
behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's
info.
podcasting. It's how the sausage is made. A saying that I invented to describe behind the scenes
On podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. So one thing is, we recorded them before anyone had heard it. So first of all, maybe people don't know this, but like as soon as the first one came out, like maybe 15 minutes in, Mark Hoppus said he wants to be on the podcast.
It's true. He actually really kind of inserted himself where he wasn't welcome by saying that he should be part of the discussion.
Right. And
which I found very presumptuous.
I mean, honestly, it was very flattering. And I did as we talked about, I quickly unfollowed him and followed him again on Twitter to send a little message that we should be friends, but it didn't really work.
It didn't take.
No,
yeah. Also, it's just such a thirsty move, man. Like, he doesn't have time for it.
You're calling me thirsty, and yet Mark Hoppus, a podcast about him existed for approximately 15 minutes before he demanded to be a part of it.
It was truly remarkable, and I think credit to
Remarkable.
Yeah, it's a truly remarkable moment in both of our lives, and again, gratitude to friend of the show and for immediately bringing it to his attention and then texting me offline to say, "You're welcome."
Right. I mean, I'm appreciative too, but like it's so early for that. And that's what we've talked about. Like, obviously we want Mark on the show. If anything, he should be on every single episode. But we have talked about this privately that we badly want Mark on the show, but we'd like to wait a little bit longer, maybe.
We just couldn't have Mark Hoppus on this podcast in the first month of its existence because where would you conceivably go? It just couldn't get better.
I mean,
no offense to Matt and Tom and Scott
and Travis,
Robert Smith. Yeah, sorry, Travis, Yellow Wolf. But yeah,
so that's the thing is like remarkable. Yeah, I'm gonna keep milking that pun until I can hear the applause from people listening.
I didn't get it until you said it was a pun. I just thought you were repeating what I was saying for dramatic emphasis.
I was doing that too, as a real alpha move.
Alpha pun dog.
Our good friend Nicole pointed out that we were kind of being alpha with Mark by sort of nagging him on Twitter.
Well, because I suggested that he was not as qualified as you and I to be on a podcast about Blink-182 songs, to which he conceded, and then you came in after he had already walked away from the fight and dunked on him by suggesting that we had summer internships that he could apply for.
I mean, at this point, I just really want attention from him.
Well, I mean, negging supposedly works, I mean, if you're a dickhead. So I think trying to apply those otherwise awful, not okay lessons to a scenario in which you stand to gain something yourself is perfectly acceptable.
Right. But then I guess I did the beta cuck move by doing the unfollow and follow.
That's what I'm saying.
That negated my negging.
Yeah, you cucked yourself in the eyes of Mark Hoppus.
Fuck.
That's brutal, man. That's so shitty.
As long as Mark never listens to the podcast but still is interested in it in a few months, then I really hope he comes on.
He will come on. Although it was interesting in the Apple Shampoo episode, you hinted at my fear of insulting members of Blink-182 because we so badly want them to come on the show.
Right. And again, that was recorded before Mark invited himself onto the show.
And so I was thinking about that.
Don't listen to episode 2, Mark Hoppus.
Or I don't really know how episode 3 is about to go, but this was very much on my mind when I suggested we do another Mark song, which I am a massive fan of, but, which is not without its moments that are perhaps worthy of some gentle mocking and slight derision.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that's the thing is like, I mean, and also today through some Googling, I've learned that there are other Blink-182 podcasts out there, but I think I'm going to go ahead and make the claim right now that like no Blink-182 podcasts are going to be as ruthlessly honest as this one.
That's 100% true. That is our solemn promise, along with all the other solemn promises that we made, is to be always real with you, the listener.
Like, we're doing this for the sake of it's about ethics in pop punk journalism, to borrow from one of the worst movements of all time.
Yeah, truly. We've used all of the best ideas and phrases so far. We've talked about negging.
The only things I know about are MRAs and Gamergate and Blink-182.
That's it, man. Please check out our other podcasts, which all in this network, this horrid network.
I would like to get Mike Cernovich on the show as well, actually, at some point.
But it would be interesting not to have him on your MRA podcast, but instead to have it on the Blink-182 podcast. Exactly. Cernovich wants to go deep on Benoit balls.
Oh, I mean, that's the thing is like, I would love to have Mark on here, obviously. And Mark, please follow me on Twitter. I'll do whatever it takes. Please. That's the only reason I started this podcast with you, actually, is for that follow.
And you came so close. That must have been especially painful.
Oh.
So, of course, our great fear with Mark Hoppus discovering the show is that we can't have a candid conversation. But, we're going to have a candid conversation about another Mark Hoppus Turbo Jam. Of course, we're talking online songs. One of the best Mark Hoppus online songs.
Josie, you're my source of most frustration. Forget when I don't meet expectations. Everything you wish came true. In the end, we all blamed you. Even though as they all know you weren't the only 1, 2, 3, 4.
This is, I think, one of the best straight up Mark Hoppus punk songs. Like, this is a super simple, really insanely catchy and perfect punk song. And I hate that they basically never played it live. So this was a song that is the second song on Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. The kids love it. A lot of covers of it on SoundCloud, real earnest ukulele shit. But this is a song that they never ever played live, apparently.
Yeah. Okay, we're getting right into that part.
Oh, we can talk about other parts first. I don't care.
No, let's do it. This is the story of this song. Is that
it is.
They've apparently never played it live, and people are really upset about it.
Do you know why they didn't play it live? I couldn't find that information.
No, but I have a theory.
Oh, hit me with it.
Okay, Mark, if you're listening right now, stop listening. Mark, turn it off. I think it's because generally, I think that Blink-182 is like kind of hilariously sloppy live. Like every time I've watched like TV appearances or like even just seeing them in concert is like, I think that the song is just like too technically complicated for them, and especially Tom DeLonge would butcher this guitar part so badly if they had tried to play it live at that point.
It's an interesting theory, especially because the actual Blink-182 live album sounds so surprisingly perfect.
I wonder if they did some overdubs.
It raises some questions about the presence of overdubs on the flawless Mark, Tom, and Travis show album. But that's entirely possible, because I remember seeing them last summer, and it had obviously been years since I last saw them, and they opened with Feeling This, and I was sort of one beer short of getting right
Feeling
into
it?
Yeah. And I was like, holy fuck. Like, just in the kind of cold light of day or night of lawn at an amphitheater, you were really kind of struck by like how hard it is to pull off a lot of Blink songs in a sort of trio live setting. Because I don't think they have like the Green Day 5 guitar players standing behind amps, do they?
Right. No, they don't. They don't. And I always thought that was kind of cool in a way. Like, it was kind of like, seemed a little bit more DIY to not get some fucking studio schmuck to... Although the Green Day guy I know is like their homie from way back when, and he's in Pinhead Gunpowder too. So that's kind of different. But like, I always thought it was kind of cool that they were willing to be very stripped down, but I also think that like it has suffered before. Like I remember seeing them on SNL and like it kind of just sounded really bad.
Yeah, when they, I guess, reunited for Neighborhoods, they played on Letterman or one of those things, and I watched it, and I kind of couldn't believe that they were capable of sounding somehow better. Like in the studio, I was like, what wizardry is required to make this function? Wow, I really hope that Mark Hoppus is not listening to this podcast.
Well, especially what I'm about to say, which is that I honestly, I feel like watching them play is like watching them struggle to hit the notes of these very easy songs. Like, and also, like, we both play guitar, and I've always been like kind of against the use of a capo in punk songs because it's like you're just playing bar chords anyways. Like, just fucking stretch your index finger across like you were taught.
Yeah.
Don't use a capo. And when I saw them play on the California tour, Mark used a capo just so that he could play open bass strings instead of putting his finger on a note, which is like, to me, insane. Is that like just laziness, or is it some sort of technique that I'm unaware of that you use a capo instead of just using your finger to hit a note? But I don't know. It's crazy to me. Like, they've been a band for like 50 years or whatever, and they seem to be almost getting worse at their instruments in a way. I mean, I don't know.
I'm actually a much worse guitar player now than I was a couple of years ago because I don't play very often. I'm a worse drummer. So maybe that's it. I mean,
but these guys have been touring for like they basically never stop touring. I don't know, and I also just feel like I've seen them play with Tom around the time of Neighborhoods too, and like, yeah, like he fucks up guitar lines all the time. Where you're like, oh well, at least there's no one else playing behind stage because this sounds terrible. So that's cool, I guess.
But then why do you think they don't tour with additional auxiliary percussionists and musicians? Because you made this point on the last podcast how Green Day kind of constantly embarrasses themselves by going back and playing Gilman and trying to appear to be insanely true in punk still.
Right.
When they're and not to discredit Green Day, who I think is a fucking amazing band, but they're just like not that band anymore, and that's fine, but you can never go home again.
Yeah, I know. And to add to that, like Blink-182 has like insane, like, remember they had like a flying drum kit and they had like confetti exploding on stage and they have all this stuff. Why don't they do that? But this brings up what is my dream scenario, which is never going to happen.
Do you want to be the touring guitar player for Blink-182?
Well, I mean, oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? But then Mark would definitely follow me on Twitter.
What if he didn't though?
Actually, we should check if they all follow each other. I remember it was like Motley. I think it was Motley Crue when they finished their world tour. Tommy Lee said that one of the other members unfollowed him on Twitter the day after their last show, which is pretty sick.
That's so sick.
But I think the best scenario would be, I mean, barring me joining the band, me and you could join the band. I think the ideal Blink-182 lineup is me, you, Yellow Wolf, and Robert Smith.
Yeah, that is what the fans have been clamoring for, is the tour that will finally assemble that dream lineup.
But what if they make up with Tom?
Yes.
But they've already gone in too deep with Matt Skiba, so they're a quartet now.
Oh.
And they have two guitars. That'd be perfect.
That would be so nice. Is that your suggestion? Like, is that where that was?
That is my suggestion. I'm being sincere. I think that'd be really good because also, having played in a punk band for many years, that was a 3-piece. Just because I didn't think that we needed to have 4 guitars. Then for our very last show, we got someone else to play another guitar, and it was like incredible. And we were instantly a way better band, and it was our last show. And I was like, shit.
So your theory is that because Blink hasn't yet learned that important lesson that you learned at your band's last show, they've never been able to play online songs well. Because I guess that guitar part's very clean, right?
It's very clean, and it's very like there's a sort of a weird. I haven't studied it enough to explain it properly, but I feel like the guitar is sort of not on beat necessarily. Like there's a lot of offbeat picking, and you have to be very like precise with it for it to work. And it's also very fast. So I think that like it requires a much tighter band. And I also listened to some covers of this song today, and like if the guitar part is messed up, it sounds really horrible. It sounds like the guitar is sort of lagging behind everything. So my guess is that it's just too dangerous to try to play that song live.
I hope that Mark does listen to this podcast, and then on the next Blink tour, they play it and they dedicate it to us in like an ultimately catty, vicious way, but one that is his wink and nod to let us know that he's a fan of the pod.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, there'll probably be about 150 more episodes by then, so the things he could be passive-aggressive about will be numerous.
The injuries that we intend to inflict on a man that we clearly both greatly admire are just endless. Truly, it's a bottomless well of irony and hatred.
So back to them not playing the song live.
Yes.
I found the world's saddest Twitter account today. It's called at 182 online songs.
Okay.
They've got three followers, and I'm just going to drop the link in here for you. So this is clearly an abandoned Twitter account, which we all know too well. They joined Twitter on April 2016, and their last tweet was on May 10th, 2016.
Okay, yeah.
So I think their intention was to really get an online sort of change.org style campaign going on to convince Blink-182, who were already with Matt Skiba at that point, to play online songs. But they really didn't last very long.
How did you find this account, dude?
I was doing some deep Googling because I was worried we wouldn't have enough. I wouldn't have enough stuff to talk about.
Honestly, you should follow this account when this episode goes up. Because
hang on, I just realized something really good.
Yes.
So I thought they only tweeted once, other than their retweets, which is their one tweet is, "I am listening to online songs, RN, and I need to hear this live so I can die happy."
Yeah.
And that tweet has one fave.
Who faved it?
I just did by accident. It looks like maybe a spam account.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hang on.
Oh my God, is that really that account's
if I
only tweet?
if I click through to who faved it, they only have one tweet at someone who is a Fifth Harmony stan. And their one tweet is, "Hun, go kill yourself, you scum of the earth. Don't down someone's music genres because you don't like it."
Oh my goodness.
So we've really gotten into some niche fandom. But if you click tweets and replies on Play Online Songs, then you'll see a lot of all caps tweets.
Oh my God.
And it looks like this account might be based in Toronto, actually.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, this bio says account made by and the users, and then trying to get Blink-182 to play online songs on their next tour or just Toronto. Hold up. And then they have a domain, which is playonlinesongs.com.
It doesn't work. I tried it.
But at what point they had registered that domain?
Their location is Play Online Songs, bro. I like that they tweeted at Travis in all caps, "Pal, you need to play online songs on your next tour, or at least in Toronto, please and thank you."
Hold on. The better part is preceding that is a reply to at Travis Barker from 20 days earlier, which is play online songs on your next tour, my guys. So I like to think they waited, almost 3 weeks and then thought, maybe I should kind of lessen the ask a little bit, because maybe they see this tweet, they want to engage with me, but they can't let me dictate the whole tour. I'm just at 182 online songs, a single purpose Twitter account.
Between those two things, they also promised to give their firstborn son to Mark Hoppus if he plays online songs.
Yo, Mark, if you are listening, play online songs.
Start listening again right now.
Start listening. Play online songs. Prove Josiah wrong. You don't need to know for what, but you also are going to get a son, a fresh son.
Fresh boy or girl. I don't know. This is really the saddest and also most charming online campaign petition I've ever seen. I mean, also, I think already by then Twitter was filtering out people that didn't have a lot of replies. So maybe they've never even seen these tweets. And I think that we could use our verified check marks to really amplify the message.
Yeah, this is us signal boosting as privileged white males.
I would like to speak on behalf of Taylor and what's the other person's name? It's not loading. The other person deleted their account?
Do you think they were run off Twitter in sadness by this moment?
I mean, I couldn't think of any other reason.
Okay, well, yes, on behalf of Taylor and oh snap, it's Maria, who is no longer with us, at least on Twitter. Who are there? This is insane. Oh my God. So this is actually a good reminder that we have actually been in discussions with Twitter. I think I'm emailing with like a guy I know,
Jack,
with @Jack, who's a big fan of the pod, trying to get @Blink 155 because right now our Twitter is at Blink 55 pod, which is like long and stupid.
@Blink 155 pod.
But the actual @Blink 155, which only has 2 tweets. And this is why I was trying to get Twitter to give us this account because it's not active. So Ryan Walker joined Twitter in February 2009, registered the Twitter account that we so desperately need @Blink 155, and tweeted on February 12th, 2009.
This is good.
This is all lowercase with no periods or anything. Blink 182 is back. Sick. And then 10 days later, on February 22nd, 2009, tweeted, nothing but Blink 182 rules. Which you could...
Hey, a man after my own heart.
I mean, I get it. I think we could take over this account and leave those tweets up. And
well, here's the other thing. If anyone knows Ryan Walker, I assume that probably 45% of Blink 182's fans are white guys named Ryan Walker.
100%.
But if anyone knows him and he wants to give us the handle, he can come on the show and talk to us about A, how Blink 182 is back, and B, how nothing but Blink 182 rules. And also to Taylor and oh snap, it's Maria, rest in peace. I just want to apologize for not finding you sooner to talk about online songs with us because we're never going to talk about it again after this.
That's true. This is going to be the last time we talk about online songs in the next 3 years. So,
also, I've stopped listening to Blink 182.
Oh,
completely.
I'm listening to Blink 182 more.
Oh, I've completely gone like no fap until we record the episodes.
Okay. So, Josiah, what was your relationship to this song like? So I picked this song. Were you like...
Oh, hang on. Sorry. We got to finish talking. The other thing is like about them not playing it live.
Okay, yeah, great. There's more.
So we found these like niche Twitter accounts that are like whatever. But the Blink-182 Reddit, where they don't seem aware of us yet, but I think they're going to fucking hate us when they find out about us.
Which is
I just
weird
have this
because...
feeling.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be good. I'm pretty sure the other Blink-182 pods are like Reddit dudes. Maybe
they are.
Yeah. So like, this is not. Yeah.
There is a truther movement about whether or not they've played online songs live. I don't know if you saw this.
No, I didn't realize there was an online songs truther.
And it is tied actually around 9/11 as well.
What?
Because like this was around they had to cancel some dates. I think. Yeah, they had to push back. They were supposed to play in Long Beach on September 12th, but it was pushed back a week because of the September 11th, 2001 attacks. And at this show, according to Twitter user Davey Havoc 819, which I think might be the real Davey Havoc.
That's 100% Davey Havoc. Check and see how many vegan subreddits he posted, and then we'll know for sure.
Yeah. But according to him, only because he was there, they definitely played online songs a week and a half after 9/11 in Long Beach. And he vividly remembers it. This is one of those like Bernstein Bears, Sinbad movie kind
Sinbad
of thing.
Shazam, yeah.
Yes, he swears that they played it.
Okay.
And he's found 3 other examples of people who have posted accounts online of seeing it at this one show. And apparently even, I think, there's so much stuff here, but I think I read that someone said that a guitarist from Newfound Glory actually joined them to play the song, which also supports my theory that the song is too complicated to play with one guitar.
So they had to bring out like the pedo from Newfound Glory or whatever.
Alleged.
Sorry.
Actually,
Please,
I don't know. I haven't followed that case.
Yeah.
I get all my Warped Tour pedophiles confused.
There's
so many.
There's too many Warped pedos to keep track of in 2017, moving right along.
Talk about a Warped Tour.
So it's interesting that, 9/11, which obviously brought so much sadness to the world, sort of
is also a big part of Blink-182 history.
It is a huge part of Blink-182 history. America really did come together in those weeks and months after 9/11.
Do you think that do you think that Tom DeLonge would have handled the phrase "come together" gracefully after 9/11?
No, 100% not. There's no way. He wasn't where he would eventually get to yet.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, but even here, like the Blink-182 subreddit, everyone just starts making fun of this guy, saying that Mark's middle name is Rebecca. Oh, all this stuff, and like they're just not taking it seriously. But I think I kind of believe this truther movement that they did play it post 9/11.
I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you just for the sake of creating narrative tension on a podcast that probably desperately needs it. So, no, man. There's absolutely no way. This is a full-on, like you said, Shazam, Kazam, Berenstein Bear situation.
Look, it was a tough time for America, and they needed this. They needed this.
They needed those na-na-nas, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think that the na-na-nas are Mark or Tom? And before you answer, I know they're probably definitely Mark, but there's a little bit of the like, I miss you enunciation on the nas that makes me feel like it almost is both of them. And there's like more Mark on some syllables than others.
Well,
but
okay,
that could be insane.
This is also another, like, there's a lot of conspiracy being thrown around with this song, and this is also a thing being discussed heavily on the Blink-182 subreddit.
Holy shit. Well, it turns out maybe these people are going to love us, or are they going to think that we're jacking their, I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel.
Here's what this poster wrote 2 years ago. In online songs, who sings the na-na-nas? All my life, I thought it was Tom. Na-na-nas are like his thing. But I'm high as fuck right now, and listening to online songs closely, I'm starting to notice it kind of sounds like Mark. Or maybe it is Tom. Or maybe, fuck, someone help me out here. It sounds like Tom, but at the same time sounds like Mark's.
It's the dress, man. Like, this is full on
It's the dress.
the Blink-182 subreddit's, version of the dress.
And, what follows is a discussion that's not really worth just mentioning much. It's mostly people either making fun of him or debating the details of that it's a pitch shifted Mark in the background. No one really thinks it's Tom. But someone, Dysentery Sean, added, he said, I'm glad I'm not the only one who notices new things about Blink songs when I'm high on here, LOL. But I've had this exact same thought, and I think it's both of them. However, I could be and probably am wrong.
So I want to endear myself to the Redditors out there right now and say, as a person who thought it was Tom, like if you had asked me before I started recording this, I would have said it's Tom. And then right before you and I started recording, we've established that we're going to listen to the song before we start recording. So we do that, and I may or may not have indulged in some medicinal herbs and listened to it on headphones and was like, oh, man, it's Mark? Or is it, like, as you were reading it, I was like, did I post that, like, before we started recording? Was I like, oh, better be prepared?
Are you Dysentery Sean?
I'm Dysentery Sean, man. One of the things I love about this song, though, is the inclusion of Josie right off the top that sort of implies that all Blink songs sort of exist in a universe with recurring characters, like the Hold Steady discography or something.
Right.
Like, it feels very literary to just be like, constantly referring to these same people and further kind of developing your relationships with them. Like, it would make Craig Finn, I think, very proud.
Going beyond that, I looked up this song on Genius just because I was, again, trying to take notes of things we can bring up. And someone has annotated, sorry, I got to find it again. So someone has annotated it. The line in the chorus, "Please don't remind me, put your past behind me." And then a contributor added a quote from the famed French novelist Anais Nin, born 1903, died 1977, very famous 20th century feminist writer. And they added a quote that said, "What I cannot love, I overlook." That's not the Genius annotation.
So that was definitely what Mark was referring to, 100%.
Yeah, he was referencing 20th century French erotic literature.
He's a well-read man. I believe that. This is a compliment, Mark. Please come on and talk to us on this podcast.
Yeah, so, I mean, it is, like, that's just what I absolutely love is people placing Blink within the context of literature. Literature being something I've heard of but never experienced.
Never indulged in yourself.
No, because I have Blink. And then the other annotation is, well, I guess there's two others, but people are talking about how this is a reference to AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because, I mean, I grew up an ICQ man and then an MSN man. AOL never really took off in Canada because we're fiercely nationalistic. Just this idea of like the screen name illusion. I don't even think I understood it the first time I heard it. Like, I think I just sort of liked the hook and the na-na-nas and the vibe, but like this whole screen name shit that is kind of the central narrative of the song, like, just didn't register for me at all.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I never even really paid much attention to that when I listened to it. But when I read the lyrics now, it's like, yeah, I don't really get that either. Like, is that a thing that you did on AOL? I remember I was pretty much exclusively an MSN man. Yeah. And I remember you could like change your screen name, but I don't understand this whole thing. Like, they shared a screen name?
Maybe like it was a thing where people would, this is what I've decided in my mind, was that maybe her screen name was like Mark's Girl, you know?
Right.
That's like, I mean, that's the extent of my theory, is that like that's the implication.
Do you remember when people first signed up for Facebook, and I still have seen people like this, but like it's like a husband and wife account. Where it's
yeah.
All one word. Like Sam and Ashley.
Yeah.
Is the first name. It's so weird.
Yeah, so some people are sort of, and especially people in really fucked up relationships, with no trust or love, are very performative in that way. And teenagers. So the idea that a kid, you know, would have a screen name that was like Josiah's Girl it sort of makes sense to me.
Right.
What did you think? Did you think that it was like a Sam and Ashley type situation?
I still don't really get it. Like, did they share an AIM account and that's why?
I don't know, man.
But this is the real danger of like naming your song after the technology of the day.
Well, that's what I like about this, is they've kind of future-proofed it by just calling it online. You know?
Right.
We're still online. You got this podcast online.
But the thing is also, like, for the song to be called Online Songs, that to me, that makes me think of more like a playlist that he made his girlfriend that they broke up, and now, like, where's the songs part here? What's going on?
You're right. This is only an online song.
Exactly.
It's quite preposterous to pretend that it's like a sort of whole suite. Like, this is just a singular movement.
Right. Yeah, it's really weird. It's just like a bad title. Like, he should have just called it Online.
Yeah.
I would relate to that. I'm always online.
You'd be like, it's my anthem.
I love to be online. Oh, I did want to mention, so I looked up some reviews of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket to see if anyone mentioned this song.
Okay, smart.
And Rob Sheffield from Rolling Stone, who like seems to have okay taste sometimes. He's still around. I saw he was really into like White Lung a couple years ago.
Tight.
And you know, he's like a guy who at least gives off the appearance that he knows his shit. Anyways, so Rob Sheffield he gave Take Off Your Pants and Jacket a very positive review. But then this is the section about online songs. He wrote, "The only false moments are the arty metal breakdowns, like the horrendously titled online song," he spelled it wrong, "which might work live, but sounds strained and pompous on record, as arty metal breakdowns tend to do."
What?
Like, how does he think that this song is pretentious and arty metal? I mean, that's insane.
Sometimes I think that certain music journalists don't listen to or understand music. And it is usually around things that are heavy where they just like, it doesn't make any sense. And they're like, I heard a distorted guitar. It was fast. It sounds like Motorhead. And they're like, what?
Yeah. Because like the very first thing you said on this episode was that it's a straight ahead punk song. And I agree. But I think it might be that guitar line that like is slightly off, that you need to get perfect in order to play it live. And that's maybe why he hears it and he's like, this sounds like Tool.
Well, off the top, I said it was a perfect punk song, but you didn't let me finish, which is, I was going to say, with an incredible arty metal bridge.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. It has a real Dream Theater vibe to it.
It clearly at this time, Blink was listening to a lot of Opeth, and those grandiose sonics were on
really
full display.
Yeah, it sounds strained and pompous is what I get from the song.
Yeah,
no,
definitely Blink is a strained and pompous band.
To go back to what you said, I think you're totally right, though. It is a wicked, straight-ahead punk song, and I think Mark does write those the best.
He's the best. Come on the show, Mark.
Love you, Mark.
Love you, Mark. Okay.
Did you know that Joel Madden follows me on Twitter?
Joel Madden follows you on Twitter?
Yeah, he does.
Dude, you got to add him, tell him to come on the show, but wait a couple episodes.
I will, but yeah, and the thing is, he followed me right after I wrote a very cruel Good Charlotte thing on Exclaim. So I think he might get it a little bit.
That's so, he was like, all right, this guy is down. He's going to call me on my shit.
Yeah. I think I called them Hot Topic shift managers or something. And he was like, that's tight. This guy's my friend. And now I'm going on a double date with Nicole Richie. And
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That rules. Come on the podcast, Joel Madden.
Yeah. Play online songs.
Yeah. Imagine we got Good Charlotte to play online songs before Blink played it. We've been talking a lot about our concerns around Reddit and the Blink-182 subreddit, not necessarily loving this podcast. I don't know why we are so nervous about it, but this gave me pause as we were talking about it. So the Blink-182 subreddit has assembled, I think, several tribute albums called from.
I think what I mentioned earlier that I thought the Reddit wasn't going to like us, it's because I knew that you were going to find this cover from the Reddit and that I was going to be forced to comment on this cover.
So, I'm sure that there are some great covers on this compilation, and I love the idea of the subreddit, any sort of community making a thing, a tribute to the thing that they love. I'm into it.
I just love, God bless all the people out there who are doing what they can with what they have. And,
yes.
Going through their punching the ticket every day and just making the most of their experience on this horrible, horrible earth.
So a couple of guys making the most of their shitty time are a band called The Reset, which, first of all, Reset was a sick skate punk band from Montreal that ultimately became Simple Plan, but had a record
which, as we've discussed, Simple Plan also employed Mark Hoppus singing Na 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 on there.
And ripped off the guitar part in the bridge of
Outro.
Apple Shampoo.
Apple Shampoo, yeah.
Yeah, for I'm Just a Kid or whatever it was. So this band, not the same band. This cover, which I think I just sent to you.
Yes.
So this cover is kind of remarkable in the sense that
Remarkable.
it's it's also a good way of me realizing how I rely on that word too much. It sounds like different parts of the song are being played back at like different like different bit rates or something. Like,
I had already kind of been suspicious that Blink wouldn't be able to pull off the song live because of the technicality of it. And then when I heard this cover, I was like, yeah, this is probably what would happen if you weren't like perfect with this song because of the precision of all the parts.
Okay, can you give it a spin? Fuck.
Josie, you're my source of most frustration. Forgets when I don't meet expectations. Everything you wish came true. In the end, we all blamed you. Even though as they all know you weren't the only 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, I will say it's kind of charming.
It's super charming. It's not that it's not charming. It's just like, it's not just that the guy's like a little pitchy. It feels like he's singing like like it honestly feels like it's mismatched from a time signature. Like something got
Totally.
messed up. Like they recorded the vocals on one computer and someone else recorded the guitars and like the files were just like not compatible because the guitar sounds in tune with itself, but like out of tune with other elements.
And the guitar does sound too slow for the rest of the song or something. Like everything just sounds slightly off.
It's a truly disconcerting sonic experience.
It really is. I feel a little bit seasick from that. Although honestly, I do really love pop punk where everything's like about to fall apart because it's not quite tight enough. So it like comes so close to falling into my favorite genre of music, which is just like fairly inept suburban pop punk.
Yes.
Which is like the best. But it's, something about it is just like makes me feel very woozy.
I don't know if you saw this video, but this is a... Did you?
No.
Okay, so this rules. This is a guy who is on YouTube as Garrett Bass 1. Most of his videos, and I don't think he's posted in a couple of years, most of his videos are sort of run-of-the-mill bass covers, but he has a few, unique a cappella type covers where he's really clearly trying to make a thing happen. So this cover is called Crazy Finger Snapping Guy, Blink-182 online songs cover. And it's that sort of standard YouTube, like he's recorded himself in 4 different boxes, like singing or performing the different parts. And Crazy Finger Snapping Guy is in all caps. So he is emphasizing this as like the novelty that will ultimately get him, I mean, in this case, 3,000 views.
3,033 views. A lot of threes going on here.
Spooky.
So are you saying this is the only crazy finger snapping video he's done?
I think that I saw, like, I think this came out in 2012.
So something about this song to him was like, this is a finger snapping song.
This one's a snapper.
Should we listen to some of this?
You should listen to some of the, again, all caps, Crazy Finger Snapping Guy.
Josie, you're my source of most frustration. Forget when I don't meet expectations. Everything you wish came true. In the end, we all blamed you. Even though, as they all know, you weren't the only 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da.
Okay, this guy's a liar. There's one of those 4 is finger snapping. The rest of it is a cappella.
Doesn't it seem like it should all be finger snapping? Like,
That's what I was getting really excited for, some like Bobby McFerrin style like body playing. It did. The snapping did have a nice ASMR quality to it.
It just like hearing it through the headphones and not actually like watching it. It's it's also sort of noticeable. Like he's not really super in time.
Sorry, I was also masturbating while I was watching that. That might have been the sound.
Right. Okay. So I thought you were no fab through like I guess except for when we record the podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. I like that he's wearing a Music is Life shirt. What a loser. Fuck this kid.
Okay, I just want to go ahead and say Garrett Pace 1 rules. He's a kid trying to do a creative thing on the internet, and I support him.
No,
and
fuck this kid.
Your cyberbullying will not stand. So here's a really nice piano cover. I don't know. There's a lot of like the usual kind of acoustic stuff. There's a sick 8-bit version, but I kind of like this just because like it is such a good pop song, like a really sort of fantastic and simple melody that I thought it sounded real nice. Just someone tinkling the ivories.
All right, let's hear it. I mean, you see on this one, even this one dude playing it, and the pieces are not necessarily always fitting together perfectly. Like it's a fairly complicated song.
Hearing how often, like it's got to kind of change is kind of crazy.
It's arty metal.
Crazier though, I've realized like looking. I don't think I really looked at the video, but there's like a series of stills that accompany this.
It's worth looking up. I had a good laugh when I saw the first photo. So of
so the first photo is just like a guy holding an Atticus bag. But did you get to the second photo?
Hang on, he's not. I just want to. Before we get to that one, he's holding what looks like his mom's purse and wearing an Atticus shirt.
Yeah, sorry,
and doing a very milady stance.
He's full milady, but like more important or more kind of confusing and potentially troubling.
Yes.
Is the second still photo that comes up after the Atticus bag guy, which is Blink playing live on what looks like a TV show or something.
Right.
And between Tom and Mark are 3 little people. Sort of seemingly. I didn't see
the third.
I think there's a third one kind of behind him. Oh, there's 4. There's a 4th set of legs between his legs.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And they all seem to be like they're in kind of like ripped jeans. Like it looks like they're sort of in costume.
Yeah, like props. Why couldn't one of them play the second guitar?
Yeah, like give these people an axe, give them a tambourine, help them, really let's flesh out your shit, boys.
Thicken up the song a little more.
Let's thicken it up. Anyway, that's it. So I just found this insanely problematic photo in a lovely piano cover, and that's kind of the extent of the shit I wanted to share. Okay, final thoughts on Online Songs?
Yeah, I don't know. I've already kind of said it. I think it's a sick punk song. Mark writes them really well when he wants to. I feel like when Mark's really good at just like not overthinking things and just like writing a sweet punk song, and it works really well. And it especially works well when it's like in between some more complicated Tom songs, and you just like hear this like quick blast. I think it's a cool song. I think Mark should follow me on Twitter. I love you, Mark.
I also think it's a sick song. It's a totally good Blink-182 song. I really wish that Mark would follow me on Twitter. Actually, I nearly forgot.
Well, you cleared your throat. Whatever you're about to say.
Well, when we started recording this podcast and I realized that the na-na-nas were kind of a contentious part of the song, I tweeted, "Who sings the na-na-nas in Online Songs?" Little Twitter poll. It's had 36 votes in the last 45 minutes, which is a lot of engagement for a poll about online songs at 11 o'clock on a Monday night.
What the hell?
39% of people think it's Tom, 61% think it's Mark, which is a not insignificant schism to bring it all back to the arty metal bridge
I mean-
in online songs.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that 39% of the people that follow you are very stupid.
I mean, I'd be amazed if it was only 39%.
Maybe if Mark followed you, he could tell you.
I'm going to throw this tweet out to Anne and see if she can signal boost it all the way up to Mark, and then we can maybe get
It's
him
all
to weigh
about
in
signal
on it.
boosting.
It's all, guys, Josiah and I are all about amplifying voices and signal boosting for others, but then having our own voices signal boosted. Okay, thanks for listening.
I feel like we're 3 episodes in, and I've already completely lost my sense of self.
Yeah, you know what the thing is you're concerned about coming across, I think, not sort of politically correct enough, whereas I'm concerned about not coming across positive enough because I am by internet trade a YouTuber and I'm all about pumping the tires. And so to share like a cover and then be like, this is bad, makes me feel gross and like a dick.
Welcome to the dark side, baby.
But I understand in order to get all the irony bros on Twitter to follow me like they do you, this is the price I must pay.
Yeah, well, I only want Mark. I'm willing to block everyone else if that's what it takes.
Okay, so this song, of course, is dedicated to the memory of It's Maria and her friend still fighting the good fight.
Taylor was the other girl's name.
We will get Blink to play online songs, if not, Josiah will get Good Charlotte to play online songs.
Yeah, but we're never going to talk about it ever again.
Sorry, so this was it.
But if they ever play it, you'll know that it's because of our signal boosting abilities.
You are welcome.
Josie, you're my source of most frustration. Forget when I don't meet expectations. Everything you wish came true. In the end, we all blame you.